Hey, y'all. Shonda here, and welcome to the Healing Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Shonda Domingo Brown. I'm an ancestral medium as well as a movement healer. And in this podcast, I'm bringing you everything healing while navigating motherhood, entrepreneurship, and all the daily life things. And I'm really excited, y'all, because in today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you and sharing with you really the importance of mindset, the importance of navigating your mindset while you're on your healing journey. So if you work with me before, you already know whenever I talk about healing, we talk about how we have these spiritual wounds. And your spiritual wounds are literally what they sound like. They're wounds that are housed in your body, physically and spiritually. And those wounds are made up of experiences and traumas and triggers that you have brought with you through maybe this life, maybe past lives. And the way they show up and the way they try to get your attention is by the experiences that you attract into your life through physical limitations such as knee pain or back pain, or through really, really intense emotions. And when we are healing those spiritual wounds, the way I love to do it is I connect with the ancestors, and that's what I share with my clients. And we meditate with our ancestors, we get clarity, but then we also are able to access their God energy to heal our spiritual and physical wounds. But then we also learn how to work, and I also teach how to work with movement, whether it's your workout or whether it's you dancing in your living room, how to intentionally use movement to heal your body and your spirit from your spiritual wounds. Right. And then also how to use crystals, healing crystals and herbs, whether it's through a tea, a tincture, a bath, whatever that is for you, using all of these tools, all of these resources when it comes to healing our spiritual wounds. And I got to tell you, the journey is not easy, but I absolutely 100% positively love being on this journey. It's not easy, but it is absolutely worth it. But listen, Linda, my dogs are barking. I'm sorry, y'all. But listen, Linda, something just recently happened. Okay. I've been on this journey, and I had a teacher tell me a while ago, she was like, you're doing great, but it's your mindset that is missing. Like your mindset is the missing piece. And I wasn't too clear on, what she meant by that. I had an idea, but I honestly just wasn't familiar at all. And all of a sudden, but not really, I ran into the teachings of Ashlina Kaposta, and she is a coach and she's a mentor when it comes to divine femininity, when it comes to getting in contact and accessing your higher self, when that comes to engaging and looking at your life from a perspective of ease and flow, when it comes to accessing and engaging your life where you don't need to feel productive to feel worthy, where you really start to tap into how you talk to yourself, the narratives that you talk to yourself, when it comes to healing your mindset, how you are thinking about you, the inner conversations you are having about you. And so I took her course. It's called Soul Align. And it's a 21-day course that you take. And each day she has it's like super easy peasy. Each day she might have anywhere between 5 to 20-minute videos where she's breaking down, what healing is when it comes to her work. And a lot of it is neurolinguistic programming. It's retraining your mind. Because when we have the spiritual wounds, our mind is operating right on a certain narrative. It's operating on a certain story or what we think is fact. I'm just this way, or it's just everybody in my family like that. We stop using that as an excuse for behavior that doesn't serve our higher self and for behavior that keeps attracting to us the same situations that we can't understand why we keep getting ourselves into. And so in this course, I started to learn, oh my gosh, my healing is working. Like the physical, the spiritual, me and my ancestors, we're rocking. I'm feeling the difference, but I'm missing the mindset because I haven't been replacing the old programming with new ways to think about myself. I haven't been replacing the old narratives and the limiting beliefs with what I actually want out of life. I ain't even stopped to slow down enough to get my brain to think about what I wanted out of life, but also in that process to remind myself that I am worthy of even wanting it. And so in this course, each day she goes through your chakras, she breaks it down. And she goes through ways where you can access thinking about what you want, reminding yourself of your worthiness, and reminding yourself of your value when it comes to journal prompts. She's giving you journal prompts, meditations, and just straight downloads, honestly, from spirit that really, and a lot of hand, but she good for the worksheets too that you can download. I would download them on my phone. And each day you go through a way of being able to reprogramming your brain to expect miracles to happen for you, reprogramming your brain to expect positive outcomes and positive things to happen for yourself. Now, I want to slow down to say, this isn't you tricking yourself. You got to reprogram your brain so that you can let all the other healing work that you're doing actually integrate and manifest. And that is where I was like, boom, mind blown, game change. It's a wrap. Y'all better watch out. Because I promise y'all, it was like a light bulb just clicked. And the first thing I thought of, I was like, yo, this is like giving somebody an iPhone. I gave you this iPhone and I'm like, here go an iPhone 15. I got your dream case with all your little dream accessories. Here go your AirPods. Here is your charger. Here go the Apple Watch to go with it. You're welcome. And then my only caveat to you is it has the operating system of an iPhone 5. You're going to look at me and be like, girl, I can't do nothing with this. And so that's literally what our brain is doing when it comes to us healing. When we're using our crystals and we're using our herbs and we're connecting to our ancestors, we still have to feed our mind the same type of healing. And that, what I have been learning and what I have found, y'all, is like that shifts it to an entirely new level. And for me, I've been like aggressively doing this. So when I'm journaling in the morning, yes, I'm journaling my thoughts, but I'm also journaling what I want to see. I'm a high vibrational being that lives a high vibrational life, grounded in spirituality, in stability, in creativity, in honesty, in community, in free time, and wealth. And I'm like journaling it. Honestly, I do it like I'm back in school, y'all. I write it like 3 times in the morning and 3 times at night. And it's about aggressively having to rewire the downloads, rewire the programs in your brain so that when your triggers start coming up, when your wounds start coming up, your brain now has new programming that it can dial into. So now when the bills start getting behind and when all this other stuff start happening, your brain doesn't go into the default program of this is always happening to me. When it rains, it pours and all this other stuff. You start leaning into everything's working out for my highest good. Okay, God, show me what I'm missing in this moment. What do I need to be seeing? Okay, everything's working out for my highest good. There's a lesson in this. This is all getting me to exactly where I'm supposed to be. You can immediately start shifting. The way you are thinking about everything that happens for you. And I'm telling y'all, once I started lining that up with moving my triggers and my traumas out of my body, with working with my ancestors, using my crystals and using my herbs, and listen, not all at the same time. I lean into what feels good for me, but reprogramming my brain, doing those meditations, journaling, that's non-negotiable. Whether I'm working with my ancestors or using my crystals or my herbs, I lean into what I really feel called to in those moments. But the way I have to upgrade my mindset, I'm 36, right? So I got 36 years of ego and defense mechanisms and protection programs that I have to now rewire my brain. 36 years and some past lives, okay? To rewire my brain to understand that I am divinely protected and guided and provided for. And repeating that to myself so that my body can start to feel safe with that truth, so that my body can start to feel safe with the energy of what that means for me, so I can start coming back home to myself. And I'm telling y'all, after I took that course, I literally could feel the shift in my mind starting to happen. Now, I'm not saying you're going to take this course and your whole life going to change, but I will say you take the course and it does change the way you start thinking about yourself. I'm taking it for the second time in a row. Because what I love too about the stuff that Ashlina does is once you take the course, you have access to it for free. And I'll put the link to the course in the show notes for y'all. But what it did as well is it sent me down the rabbit hole. Okay, so I want to share some books with y'all too. And I've been doing the audiobooks. Audiobooks have been like my new hobby because it's something that I can do where I'm getting in this, like, I'm literally feeding my mind all of this really good information, all of this information that's aligned with what I want to see for myself, with what I feel like I'm capable of, with what I feel like I'm destined for. And I can do that while I'm doing the dishes, while I'm folding clothes, while I'm doing back to school prep, while I'm trying to get dinner done, while I'm trying to mop the floors, okay? Because we still got to live, right? We still got to get things done. We still have to take care of our homes and our businesses. But I want to share with y'all a couple of books that has just been starting to take that for me ever since I took that course and really start to lock everything in, like truly, truly lock it in. So the first one I want to share with y'all is called You Can Heal Your Life. And if you sign up for my blog, I go into more depth about this book too. But You Can Heal Your Life is another one that made me go mind blown. It's by Louise Hay. And she literally tells you and explains and breaks down how everything we are experiencing emotionally is connected to our spiritual health and our physical health. And she breaks it down in such a way where you're like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. Oh my gosh, that makes sense. What she does too is though she takes it a step further to give you the new narratives or new affirmations, I would say, that you can start telling yourself and that you can start speaking over yourself to retrain your brain. So one of my favorite things that I borrow from Louise Hay is I approve of myself. If you've taken any classes, I'm always talking about worthiness and feeling enoughness is one of my biggest wounds that I'm healing from. And so having this narrative whenever I think to myself, oh, who am I to want this? Or who do I think I am to want to move like this or to want to achieve these things? I acknowledge those thoughts and then I immediately shift into I approve of myself. I approve of myself. I approve of myself. And I keep saying it until my energy shifts. And that means I have to sit, if I'm in a doctor's office and I got to sit there and write it down 10 times until my energy shifts, or if I have to walk around the house and I have to repeat that to myself, or if I have to go look myself in the mirror and say it out loud. I'm learning that betting on yourself and speaking over yourself needs to be aggressive. It needs to be non-negotiable for you to really start to activate that energy of self-belief and empowerment and confidence, and for you to really put those new programs into your brain. I got a range for y'all, okay? The other book is called The Middle Finger Project by Ash Ambridge. And this one is like, if you don't mind some cuss words, okay? And you want it to be simple and funny, but also very informative, this one is the one for you. And what I love about Ash Ambridge, especially if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're just somebody who's taking upon a new project, maybe you just got a new promotion and you trying to figure out what you just got yourself into, this book is great for you. So she talks about having your mindset being in a space of following your heart, but being in a space of doing it so unapologetically, being in a space of knowing, like, you know what? Don't nobody know what they doing. I don't care how much money they got. I don't care what their title is in their corporate job. Everybody out here figuring it out. And she kind of shares, not kind of, but she shares her story with how she navigated that and got to a place where she just didn't give a F no more. And she just decided she was going to be out here living her best life, following her heart, and doing things that felt good to her, even if it looked absolutely crazy to everybody else. And that book really made me see and realize, like, yo, you gotta bet on yourself. You gotta bet on yourself. You want the universe to bet on you. You want God to bet on you. You want your ancestors to move on your behalf. You want your spirit guides to send you all these signs and these synchronicities. You want your whole spirit family to be out here rallying for you and, you know, cheering you on and making moves for you and moving things out your way and breaking these attachments and all this other stuff. What are you doing? What are you going to bring to the table? What efforts and actions are you going to do? How you going to bet on you? How are you going to believe in you? They going to do it because they love you. They love you because you exist. So if you say, let's ride, they're riding. And they're going to make sure you get whatever lessons you need to get in the midst of all of that. But what are you going to do in the meantime? What are you going to do to bet on yourself? What are you going to do to raise your vibration? What are you going to do to change your mindset so that when they do give it to you, you don't sabotage it all, right? So that's like what I really got from that. And that was like one of the downloads that came through for me from Spirit, was like, bet on you. Like, meditation and connecting back to yourself is non-negotiable. Following your heart is non-negotiable. But you got to meditate. You got to get still. You got to know what you want. Like, for real, and get clear. And it's okay if it evolves and it changes, as long as your compass is always your heart. But once you do that, you got to put the action behind it. You got to feed your mind this programming so you don't sabotage it all and throw it all away. And not even that. If you're not even feeding your mindset the right thing, you'll never get it. Because you're going to be subconsciously running on the program that you don't deserve it, or that you're going to mess it up, or that you're not worthy. So what we feed our mind it's critical, y'all. It's critical. All right. I'm getting off my soapbox for that one. So the next book is called Power Moves by Sarah Jakes Roberts. And I've been following Sarah Jakes Roberts' work for a while now, and she's always inspired me to want to lean into what authenticity is, and to want to lean into whatever my calling would be in any area of my life, and that I bring my full authenticity to it. And her book, Power Moves, is all about how do we tap into the God within us? How do we tap into the divine within us? And how do we use tapping into that as a way to come back home to ourselves? How do we use that as a way to allow the energy of God to move into us, to where we lean into our confidence, to where we allow our bigness to come alive, where we allow our wings to span. I'm almost seeing like the picture of a phoenix, like when we are allowed to fly like a phoenix and be big like a phoenix and fierce like a phoenix and graceful like a phoenix, but also still fierce like a phoenix. How do we move through life? How do we move through life really taking in that energy and taking on that energy? And in Sarah Jakes Roberts' book, Power Moves, she leans into that, but she also gives you practices and tools that might be something you would have learned in therapy, something you might have learned through journaling, of how to tap into that for yourself and how to bring it into practice in your day-to-day life. So that was another one that I was like, man, I really need to get my mind right. That was another one that did it for me. And then the other one that I'm reading right now, y'all, is called Ask and Receive by Esther and Jerry Hicks. It's also the teachings. If you're familiar with Abraham Hicks, Abraham Hicks is the spirit consciousness that teaches Esther and Jerry Hicks, and they share the information that they get with people everywhere. You can go on YouTube. They probably got about 12 podcasts just dedicated to Abraham Hicks' work. And what I'm learning is the power of the mindset, the power of knowing that what you want and what's down on the inside of your heart is not too big. It's not too much. It's in your heart for a reason, and that you get to ask for it. And that when you get to ask for it, I'm sorry, y'all, it's called Ask and It Is Given. That's the name of the book. You get to ask for it and you get to receive it. What stops things sometimes is us being able to allow for it to come to us. And that's our mindset. So we ask for, it's kind of like when you pray, right? You pray and you be like, oh, I really want this. Thank you so much. And then you go start worrying about that it's not going to happen. Well, when you start thinking that it's not going to happen, that thought is telling God and it's telling the universe that she don't want it because she already thinking it's not going to happen, right? So it's showing and it's teaching the importance of really shifting your mindset, and also how everything else is connected to that. And that's what I've been really taking for it. When I look at healing, right? When we look at healing as a lifestyle, everything else that we do when we're feeding our mind is connected to how we live our lives, what we watch on TV, the music that we listen to, the food that we eat, if we keep our house clean or not. All of that impacts our energy. And when it impacts our energy, it impacts our mind. It impacts our thoughts. It impacts the way we are thinking, the way we are expecting our day to go, the way we are expecting things to work out for us. Our lifestyle is literally impacting our thoughts. So when it comes to healing, are you choosing to eat foods that are healing to your body? Because it's going to literally, what you eating is in alignment with if you're going to fulfill your destiny or not, and how fast it might even happen for you. You doing your meditations and laying with your crystals and taking your healing baths, spiritually cleansing yourself, being aware of your energy, doing your work, journaling, sitting with your stuff, facing the dark parts of you, acknowledging the dark parts of you, and then choosing to do better, not staying in victim mode and walking around, woe is me, but choosing to do better. All of that is impacting our thoughts. Our lifestyle is impacting our thoughts, and our thoughts is impacting the reality of what we're sitting in. And what I have learned, and what I'm still learning, and what is really just, I think every day, y'all, is taking my breath away, is that importance of really being adamant about reprogramming our mind. So I hope this inspires you to slow down enough to observe how you talk to you. Slow down enough to observe if you're walking around spending every second of your day judging yourself. And I encourage you, check out these books, sign up for Soul Aligned. I'll put the links to everything in the show notes. And just take a moment to invest in reprogramming your mind when it comes to pairing it with everything else you might be doing, with healing your spirit and healing your body and healing your emotions. Don't leave your mind behind. Don't leave your mind behind. Your mind needs the healing too. And this is, I'm telling y'all, it's been a game changer. And the way I have been able to show up in my ancestral readings, and the way I'm able to work with my clients in one-on-one sessions, the way I've been able to show up and teach group classes, and the way I even get to interact with my boys. If this is your first time listening, I have twin boys who are now 4 years old, and it impacts the way I even interact with them, the way I speak over them, the way I pray over them. And the way I speak life into them, I'm way more intentional about it. Because now I know whatever I speak to them, their brain is literally receiving it as a program, as a narrative. So I got to even be careful with what I am speaking and how I'm speaking my thoughts into reality, even over my own children, over my business, over myself, over my friends, over my family. So I encourage you to slow down, take a moment, and really put some love and some TLC as you think about rituals and the things you want to start implementing for yourself in your own daily practices, and how you can really incorporate shifting your mindset. Even if that's you just waking up and putting something on YouTube, there's a lot of affirmation loops that you can listen to on YouTube where Abraham Hicks has a lot of them where it's just, they call them rampages. It's just positive rampages to feed your brain. You can go to sleep listening to it so it can feed your subconscious mind. And I promise y'all, I know it might sound like the most, but it works and it's real. All right. So thank y'all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will put all the resources in the show notes. Thank you for listening to The Healing Lifestyle. I hope it blesses you. Keep going. Healing isn't easy, but it's totally worth it. And you got this. So happy healing, and I'll see y'all next time.